You have your ticket? You don't have one, my friend? No problem. Just hit the subscription button below. Come on in. Hey guys, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, I just wanted to take a moment and uh, bring up a subject matter that's near and dear to my heart, and you've heard me talk about this before. And this is regarding, the high crime of sex trafficking. Many of you guys have probably already heard if you've been watching, mainstream media uh, over the last couple of days talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And if you don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is, he's the financier, but he's also the convicted child molester. And Jeffrey Epstein, I had mentioned a while back, had gotten 13 months in jail after being found guilty of having sex with minor girls. In this case, was in Florida. But just recently, they have taken him back to court, and this time they're charging him, with what they should have charged him with in the beginning, and that is, not child sex trafficking. If you know anything about the earlier case, Alex Acosta, who was the U.S. District Attorney down in Florida at the time, working with Alan Dershowitz and some other attorneys, figured out how to get him, the lightest sentence possible for sex crimes against children. And now Alex Acosta is the Secretary of Labor for Donald Trump. Go figure. Politicians helping politicians, and all of them, with mud and filth, and dirt, on their hands. But anyway, just to bring you up to speed of what's going on, again, it has come back to the forefront of the news, and they're talking about not only Jeffrey Epstein, but also individuals who flew on his plane called the Lolita Express, that went out, to his island. I think it's called the St. James Island. And many, many flights back and forth with women, unnamed women, or females, maybe I should say it that way. And what's even more interesting about it, some of the names on that flight log are, for example, Bill Clinton. Yes, former President Bill Clinton flew on that plane at least 26 times. Kevin Spacey, the actor, many times. Chris Tucker, the comedian Chris Tucker, on the plane many times. Prince Andrew on that plane many times. Naomi Campbell on that plane many times. Hillary Clinton on that plane many times. Alan Dershowitz on that plane, which he's denying that he had nothing to do with it, just met the man, but it's a flat out lie. I mean, he's just trying to cover his tracks. The president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard University, and the current president of Harvard University also listed on that on those flight lists. And you can look this up. Just Google it up. Jeffrey Epstein's flight list. And I bring this to your attention again because, of course, this all was done under the skies of massage parlors down in Florida and also New York, to name a couple of states that this was going on in. And if you remember, just recently, Robert Kraft of the New England Patriots was supposedly in a massage parlor, getting some kind of, what he called innocence, unbeknownst to him, blowjobs from people who were being sex trafficked. Although, with the help of the media, pretty much covered that story, or covered up that story. Let's say it that way. And now I hear tell that they're talking about that Robert Kraft, 6 months ago, a potential sex trafficking participator, at minimum, who knows what level of involvement overall, to now all of a sudden, the Football Hall of Fame. Just goes to show you guys that you need to look at sports and entertainment and politics, all these things as just, modern day diversionary tactics to keep you off of what you should be, keep you from thinking about the things that are truly relevant are prevalent in your life. So these are distractions. Give them food and give them entertainment, and then you can manipulate them and control them. And that's the way they treat us as the masses. So when I say them, I'm talking about you and I. It's almost circus and peanuts, and then you can sell them anything because they won't be paying attention to things that truly matter. And when you start looking at, something as serious as underage sex trafficking and pedophiles, I don't think it can get any more serious than that. And you've got, these high-profile individuals in politics, in the legal realm, entertainment realm. I think I said politics, but political realms. You know what I'm saying? That are just out there taking advantage. Of innocent, little girls and little boys. And it's just a sad situation. And you just look at these sexual deviants. And just to know, and I bring this to your attention because I just want you to understand, if you have little children, young children, if you're a young adult listening to this video, I'm telling you guys, you got to be extremely careful out here. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein had, women pimps who were out there going out to getting, little girls as young as 12 years old, bringing them to his apartment and, having them do all kinds of sex acts, masturbating, using sex toys, having sex with him and recording this stuff and keeping it up in his private safe and his private collection that I'm sure he was sharing, with his sex perversion friends. And, and that's bad. That's really, really bad. But even worse, and this is another reason why I tell you guys, mainstream media is a racket. And the reason I say mainstream, I'm talking about CNN, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, Fox News, all of your major news networks, they are rackets. And what I mean by racket, what they do is pretty much figure out what you want to hear, and they regurgitate back to you what they know you want to hear. All right? And most of it, guys, is just sheer, for lack of a better word, made up bullshit. Not that the things that you want to hear is made up bullshit. It's just stuff to manipulate you to control the way that you think, to program you into thinking that you're getting real news when you're really just getting propaganda. Information, recycled information over and over and over and over to keep you programmed and pretty much consumed, in their lies, in their deception. Again, to keep you from focusing off of the things that are truly important. The things that you should know about is regards to something as important as human sex trafficking. Especially when it's over, the last number I looked at, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 800,000 to 1 million children in the United States are sex trafficked every single year. 800,000 to 1 million are sex trafficked. I would tell you also, that's another big issue that's going on with the border crossing. You guys know that already. A lot of that border crossing stuff is for sex trafficking. But again, I digress because I don't want to get caught back up into that conversation, at least not today, because I don't want to take the emphasis off of what I'm talking about. And now here's the truth. And if you think that you're getting real news, you think that, these news stations, media stations that I just brought up to you again, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News. If you really think you're getting real news from them, then tell me, how many of you guys know about what happened with the Department of Defense computers just recently? How many, I'm going to say it again, how many of you guys know what just was uncovered with the Department of Defense computers just recently? Is that being talked about on the news? What happened? So you might say, okay, how will we know if it's talked on the news or not if we don't even know the answer to the question you asked, DFG? So let me share something with you. And this is just recent news, okay? To show you just how perverted and corrupt things truly are. And I'm going to try to get through this really fast, okay? So bear with me. Give me about a minute and a half. I'm going to read this to you. All right. Defense Department computer network among top sharers of child pornography. I'm going to say that again. Defense Department computer networks among top sharers, sharing of information, of child pornography. the Defense Department computers are among the top distributors of child pornography. An untold number of Department of Defense employees and contractors have subscription to child pornography websites, and the problem is apparently so pervasive it requires new technology solutions to address it. Hundreds of DoD-affiliated individuals were recently identified as suspects in child pornography cases, according to an investigation by the Defense Criminal Investigation Service. So far, authorities have looked into about 20% of these cases, but already they have found several individuals using their government devices to download or share said pornographic child sex material. Last year, an investigation by the National Criminal Justice Training Program found the Department of Defense computers were among the top networks nationwide for peer-to-peer sharing of pornographic images of minors. When they say peer-to-peer, mean co-workers sharing it between each other. The Department of Defense network ranked 19th out of 2,891 computer networks studied. Now, I bet you didn't hear that on your mainstream media outlets. And if you did, I bet you it was just that fast. And back off to, let's talk about Iran and, their nuclear weapons and whether or not Russia, was involved in our elections to, if Donald Trump, I don't know. All right, I'm going to leave. I'm not even going to say what I was about to say on that one. But that's where they have you diverted, guys. They've got these 24-hour sports programs that keep men just constantly looking at sports programs. Some of these news programs talking about the same stuff over and over and over all day. All these entertainment programs, American Idol to Shark Tank to you name it. Anything they could do to keep you from distracted so that you can't see what's happening to your children and to, what's supposed to be, our country. And I do say that way, our country. And it's sad. Department of Defense. Now, the Department of Defense, just so that you know, that's a global organization. So this is probably how sex trafficking is going on globally. I can assure you those child pornography photographs that they're sharing between each other, probably from places as far, east as, Malaysia to probably as far south as Argentina or far north, as, probably Alaska and parts beyond. It's a global situation, $150 billion industry, and it's happening right under our noses because most of us are just too lazy or too preoccupied to notice. And I know some of you might say, why do I care about that? Why should I care about that? Well, you know something? If you're falling into that category, then, all you need to do is just look in the mirror and ask yourself one simple question. If that was your little sister, your niece, your daughter, your granddaughter, you follow me, your neighbor who you care about, love daughter, how would you feel about that? If someone were taking them and grown-ass men like Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew, Chris Tucker, etc., Alan Dershowitz, all these guys, and taking and running through them, just like they're just wordless pieces of meat and then throwing these children away when they're done with them, ruining their lives forever. How would you feel about that? Pretty horrific, I suspect. And I hope this video and this information, if nothing else, keeps us looking and watching what happens with Epstein. I think July 15th, he's supposed to be, indicted. And let's make sure we keep the pressure on Congress people and anyone else that we can, bring awareness to ensure these devils don't get away with this stuff. Okay, guys? And last but not least, man, watch your children. Parents, watch your children. All right? There are predators out there, and they see your child as prey. Thanks for listening. Bye now.